Assalamu alaikum, I'm Sadan Khan and welcome to another episode of All of Your Business with Mehtab Haider. Sir, the European Union has said that Pakistan's continued access to the GSP Plus will depend on progress in human rights, labor rights and governance. Sir, how important is GSP Plus for Pakistan's economy and what does Pakistan need to do to retain it?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much for having me. This GSP Plus is quite beneficial for Pakistan's trade. For instance, under the GSP Plus, they have provided concessions on tariff, and on textile, their tariff is almost zero. So, in the last financial year that ended on 30th June 2026, Pakistan has recorded an export of more than $8.5 billion, which was equivalent to 7.5 billion euros. So, it is a significant number, keeping in view the overall exports ranging around $30 billion. So, this GSP Plus is quite significant for Pakistan, and at the moment it is at the transitional stage because of the last European Parliament's election. They have extended the GSP Plus for all countries including Pakistan for 3 years period. So now it is at the moment at the transitional stage, and Pakistan will have to qualify for the next GSP Plus, for which Pakistan had already ratified 27 conventions, and the European Parliament's consent will be required. So this latest report covers monitoring and compliance performance of Pakistan from 2023 to 2025. And in this report, they have found that Pakistan was largely compliant, but there are some weak areas on which Pakistan requires more improved performance, just as you have mentioned, related to the human rights, related to the labor rights, related to the other aspects of different aspects. So, what required Pakistan? Pakistan will have to undertake an hectic lobbying at diplomatic level, as well as Pakistan will have to get support of European Parliament and different European countries to get qualify for the next GSP Plus. And this fiscal year is quite important because now this is the right time when Islamabad will have to ensure and undertake hectic diplomatic efforts. There is a diplomatic corps representing Pakistan in Brussels, and they are undertaking the required task. But now, Ministry of Commerce, as well as Ministry of Finance and the Foreign Office, they will have to jointly undertake all these efforts to ensure that Pakistan can qualify for the next GSP Plus. Because in last 10 years period, on average, Pakistan has achieved an excess of exports to the tune of $7 to $8.5 billion on per annum basis. So from 2014 to 2024, it means that GSP Plus has played a significant role for achieving higher exports trajectory. And if Pakistan wants to achieve $60 billion or $100 billion targets over the medium to long term period, the next GSP Plus will play an important role. So Pakistan will have to undertake both the diplomatic as well as the commercial and trade related activities, keeping in view that Pakistan is at the forefront of the war against terror, for which Pakistan had rendered innumerable sacrifices. So Pakistan deserves to get another success access on account of GSP plus.
Right, sir. So the IMF expects Pakistan economy to grow by 3.5%, while government has projected that. Sorry, दोबारा करता हूँ. So the IMF expects Pakistan's economy to grow by 3.5% in fiscal year 27. So while the government is targeting 4%, so which forecast do you think is more realistic and why?
Actually, it depends on multiple factors. For instance, the IMF, in its updated World Economic Outlook, has unveiled that Pakistan's growth trajectory will be hovering around 3.5%, while CPI based inflation, they have projected it in the range of 8.4%. Although Pakistan deserves to achieve higher growth trajectory in the last fiscal year, when everyone, including the Minister of Finance and independent economists, were projecting that Pakistan's growth will surpass the 4% of GDP. But mainly because of the Gulf War, where we have seen that it resulted into escalating the fuel and energy prices, and it also resulted into halting of trade related, especially the exports related restrictions and problems. Pakistan had achieved a provisional growth of 3.7%. Now it depends on geopolitical situation as well as the performance of three major sectors, especially the agriculture sector, and then the industrial sector and the services sector. In this financial year, we are at the stage of pre-monsoon, so it will depend on the monsoon rains. If Pakistan doesn't undergo any flooding and it remains smooth, then the performance of agriculture sector is expected to rebound. So it is expected that the agriculture will perform better. So if agriculture growth remains in the higher trajectory, then Pakistan is expected to achieve 4% of GDP. But if agriculture sector remains underperformed or it faces any problem, then Pakistan's growth will remain 3.5%. So it depends on performance of the agriculture sector, and performance of agriculture sector becomes more relevant and important. For instance, if Pakistan's want to achieve higher exports, then it depends on the performance of the agriculture sector. For instance, cotton production is important because it is the raw material of the textile sector. Rice is important because last year Pakistan couldn't achieve the higher exports target mainly because of the poor performance of the rice exports. So agriculture sector and then the manufacturing and large scale manufacturing and industrial sector performance will really impact the overall growth trajectory.
Right, sir. So the PTA says people with compatible phones will be able to access 5G through their existing data packages. So do you expect telecom operators to keep 5G affordable in the longer run, as we have seen before that companies often introduce mobile bundles and then increase prices once they become popular?
Actually, the mobile sector or cellular companies will have to ensure value-added services in order to ensure the capturing of their consumer base. So it is a competitive environment, and the 5G services will only be secured by those who possessed 5G enabled cellular sets. So it depends. So that's why there is a need to reduce the PTA tax, which is called PTA tax. Actually, it is FBR's tax.
Goes to FPR.
In order to ensure connectivity and availability of 5G enabled phones in abundance in Pakistan, so that maximum people can get benefit from the 5G services. But always keep in mind that this spectrum auction will of course give boost to the 4G services at the first stage, and then with the passage of time the 5G enabled more phones will be available in the market, and it will be more affordable at more affordable rates, and then the 5G rollout will be completed in next few years period.
Right, sir. Sir, car financing has increased by nearly 38% over the past year, while home and personal financing have also continued to grow. Sir, what does this tell us about consumer demand and the overall economy?
Actually, if we want to promote economic activities, there is a need to create cushion for increased consumer financing. But in last few years period, the government had become a desperate borrower because of the large extent of the increased fiscal deficit. But in the last financial year, we have seen that the government has achieved macroeconomic stability and curtailed the overall deficit. Now there is a plenty of room for the private sector. That's why we have seen that the agriculture sector credit and the car financing also increased, and that's why the sale of the cars also went up. So now when the budget deficit is going to decrease, it will help to curb the crowding out of the private sector, and there will be plenty of resources available with the banks to lend to the consumers to increase consumer financing. So in months and years ahead, when there will be reduced budget deficit, then there will be plenty of room for the consumer financing, and it's a good for the economic activities, and it's a good sign for overall recovery, because now the banks will have to really find out the avenues to lend the money, because earlier they were earning lofty of profits because they are giving plenty of borrowing only to the government, which was mainly secured. So now the days will be over when they will be sitting at their rooms and getting profits. Now they will have to find out the clients in order to promote the consumer financing, and it will promote overall economic activities in Pakistan.
Right, sir. Sir, Pakistan's oil industry recently warned of possible shortages. So, but the government says that there is no fuel shortage and enough stocks are available. Sir, how should the public look at these conflicting claims?
Actually, yesterday the Prime Minister of Pakistan has chaired a high-level meeting, and then different ministers, especially the Minister for Economic Affairs, Chima Saab, also chaired a meeting in which they gave assurances on two accounts. First of all, he assured, along with the chief secretaries and the overall top management of bureaucracy as well as the ministers, that there is no shortage of wheat. And secondly, he also assured that there is no shortage of fuel in Pakistan, and especially he warned the OMCs and petrol pumps that if someone is found involved in profiting at the cost of consumers, the government will take action. So he assured that there is no shortages of fuel in the country, and it will be available as the plenty of stocks exist within Pakistan in order to meet the requirements of 2 to 3 weeks period.